So we're going to be doing a push install from the Commserve to the client itself. This will be a file system agent we're going to push. And so this is the host name here, right here. So in order to do that, we can do a couple of things. So we go to our Commserve under clients, new client, and we're going to do a Windows file system. Put the client name in there and put the full qualified domain name in there, and next, and finish. We also have to do a couple things before we add the software. Before we add the software, we're going to have to go to the file system, what we're installing, which would be the Commvault Win 01, and we're going to see if we have under services. We're going to see if we have the what is it? It is remote registry, I think. Remote registry. Oh yeah, remote registry. Make sure remote registry is yeah. Remote registry? I think it's remote registry. Yeah, it's remote registry. So we're going to make sure the remote registry is enabled and running. Automatic. We're going to do automatic. Started and apply. Running on the client itself, and then on the Commserve as well. We're doing the same thing on the Commserve. So services and remote registry. We're going to start it up. Yeah. The other thing we need to do, we're going to close this, is to let's see. Oh, in the local, so we go under the server management, we go to tools, and it's under local security policies or security policy. And then we're going to go to local policies, security, no, user, yeah, user rights admin. So double click on access this computer from the network. We're going to double click on that. We're going to put in there. Notice we have the domain admins here listed. So I'm going to put the domain admins. So this makes it easier. Domain admin. So when I install Commvault on the client, because this admin is a domain admin as well, we might as well do the same thing. Let's do the same thing. Commvault. Do the same thing. Yeah. So because that's the user is going to be installing it. Plus it's a domain admin, so we'll doubly do it. Yeah, that's fine. Blah blah blah. It's fine. Whatever. Yeah, it's fine. And since this is the, shouldn't have to do it on your Commserve because you're doing it here. The other thing, we're going to check our registry, make sure nothing's blocked under software. So HQ local machine software, nothing's blocked. I don't see Commvault anywhere there anyway, but yeah, I don't see it. So nothing's blocked. Fine. Minimize that, close this. And then close that. Then we go under our firewall, Windows firewall. We just want to make sure that 135, I think, and 445, ports 135, 445, right? So inbound local port would be 135. You're looking at SMB or DCOM, sorry. And then SMB would be 1 or 445. 445, 445, 445. Yeah. That's going to be my SMB here. It is file and print sharing, essentially, is what that is. just to make sure that's open. And the same thing is it's allowed. Oh, enabled. Enabled? No, it's not enabled. Is it? Let's double click to make sure. Should be enabled. Enable. Yeah, allow this connection. Sure, it's fine. Yep, it's fine. And then the 135 with this SM or the DCOM or yeah, DCOM. Oh, here it is. Windows. Here it is right here. WMI. Yeah. Yep, that's fine. They all look good. Looks good. Yep. And then I think that's it. I think those are the ones I need to look at. Now, if it's a Azure client, it's a little different, right? So anyway, so we're in our file system. We right click. And then we're going to alt task, then add remove programs or add remove software, install software. We're just doing a file system. Next, next. So this is the local admin, Commvault admin. This would be the domain admin to install. Okay, Commvault, happy goodbye. Local, fine. We're installing the file system core file system just for the Windows to get Windows working. The file system. Next. Not going to do anything here because it's same network. We don't have to do any of this stuff. It's going to default. Presumably, it's going to default in the same folder. Yeah, it's presumably going to default. So we're going to leave that. Yeah, going to leave it like it is. And there's no firewall, essentially. Not really. Same network. Now it's going to run. Job controller. I should see. Yeah. Yep, to be attempted. Now, if you come over here in our file system, should start to see some Commvault show up. Now, if I throw an error, then I probably have a firewall issue. Like meaning there's a firewall blocking it on my file system. Meaning on my file system, there's a firewall that I need to disable or configure or allow ports or something. That's probably what the issue is. But if it works, then it's not an issue. Yeah, I think it's a firewall issue. So I'm just going to turn off the firewall. Don't do this in a normal environment. Turn it off. Why not? Turn it off. Yeah, domain. I'm just going to turn it off. And resume. I do believe that's what we had it set up before it. When our MSP, we had the same thing where we had to disable the firewall, the Windows Defender on the client just to get it installed. Because we had other software instead of Windows Defender. So, oh yeah, that was the issue. See, it's transferring package now. Yeah, that's one of those odd things. At least we have, yeah, like I said, the Windows firewall, the Defender was turned off or turned on. So that's the reason why. And if you have a home lab, then you don't really care. But if you're a enterprise network like MSP, you're going to have an antivirus there, and you're still going to turn off Windows Defender, but you're going to have an antivirus, you're going to have an intrusion detection system, all that. So you're just going to turn off Windows Defender. Just transferring the package. So I see something show up here under, it's either going to be in, most likely it's going to be C drive, program files. It's going to show up here somewhere. It gets more complicated the more networks you have, or let's say you have to traverse through multiple networks. Your customer has a media agent or a file system that's halfway around the world, so you have to traverse those networks. It becomes a little bit of a challenge in that regard. You just have to make sure that everything is correct and your networking is good and solid. Some media agents, they have, it's, what is it called? It's called not a standby. The media agent, like some media agents, this is going off subject. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, here we go. We see Commvault now. Fine. Fantastic. So we click on log files, we can do install, and then we can see what it's been doing with the install a little bit. So machines running OS, detected, been features. Yeah. So the job, the install is going to be the same. So 8400 is because we're not doing 8403. Yeah, log move to program files, et cetera. Filling all processor from install. Now, since I'm using, now this install is an out of band. I don't have the internet with this. So what I did was I put the software cache on the Commserve. So I'm able to push the installs to any client I need. The issue might, when I run into, if I install Oracle, the file system, or sorry, the agent for Oracle or SQL, I might run into an issue there because I might not have that package downloaded on Commvault or in the software cache. I might not have that installed. So I'm definitely probably going to run into an issue with that if I don't have it installed. But nevertheless, you see this here, update info has all this information, nice, installing the hotfix, etc., etc. Yeah, I was talking to, some companies out there, they're thinking about moving away from Commvault to like Citrix, not Citrix. What is it? Rubrik. Yeah, Rubrik. Which I get it, right? If you want to do that. But I don't think a lot of people, maybe people know Rubriks, I don't know, but they say it's not as complicated to manage Rubrik than it is Commvault. Maybe. I know. The I'll tell you, from working at MSP, majority of the issues is network related. Like 90% of the issues we had was network related in an MSP. Either it was slow speed, like slow read write speed, slow backup speed, whatever, or it was can't connect to the comms to the client, the check readiness failed, whatever. Always, those are always the common issues I had. Where it's just a network issue. It's all it was, really. It's all it was. It's all a network issue. It's all the time. There's rarely something with the software. I'd say probably out of 100 times, it would be, well, out of 1,000 times, let's say, it'd probably be one time with the software itself. Something with the software didn't wasn't working properly, and yeah. Obviously, Commvault's thinking about going to a Linux-based Commserve, which could have challenges in itself, because forget about, getting support for that is another story. You got to have individuals who know Linux, and they know Commvault, they know their way around the file system, they know how to do all that stuff. And then also the same thing is, if you're Commvault and you have an admin, and like I'm working for MSP and my Commserve is a Linux agent or Linux Commserve, or even my everything is Linux, let's say media is Linux. You're going to have to do two things if you're a Commvault individual. You're going to have to teach me a little bit about Linux, because when you troubleshoot it, you're going to want me to do certain things. And you're also going to have to know Linux as well. I think the learning curve is going to be very hard if you've used Commvault in a while and you suddenly move to a Linux Commserve. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, in my opinion. Looks like it's installing here. So the good thing is we did all those things, those prerequisites, if you will, to get the agent installed, file system agent installed successfully. Again, this is out of band. I'm not on the internet with this, so this is what you ideally want to do if you're doing a government network where you don't have access to the internet, but you still need to get backups working. This is what you would do with that. This is how you would effectively install the agents with this, and that would get it, make it easier. Software has been installed. We're not going to do a restore. We're not going to perform a test or a backup. We're not going to do that. But we are going to look and see. So what I like to do when I do installs is in the Commserve Java console. I'm so used to the Java console. So double click. I like to okay. What I like to do is first I like to see if I can browse to it. Going to basically just browsing to the file system here. I'm not worried about adding anything yet. So can I browse to it? The client can. IVE and retrieve. Yeah, great. Awesome. Second thing is I like to come over here to my Commserve, and I like to, the file system that I installed. I like to go to Process Manager, and then I like to open it up. Processes. So, yep, that's the right name. That's the right Commserve instance of one. Fine. Processes, services, right. I come over here, and I'm just going to see some real quick here. The let's see. Well, I don't have any storage policy set up yet. What I would do is I click on Advanced, and then we'll look here. I want to do Optimum Scan, Performance. You can automatic, or some used to be you could click data readers, but we do automatic, and then you don't want to throttle it. I'm not looking to throttle it, and then allow multiple data readers. So we'll do that. Close that up. That's my other user for Commvault. Commvault user. Anyway, so what I like to do is I look at the file system. I clicked here, and then I come here and the agent that I just installed. I do all tasks, and then I restart services. Yes. Then I look over here at the file system. Do I see it? I should see it disappear. Essentially what I'm looking for it to have happen. It'll go off, come back. Yeah, successfully installed or successfully restarted. Come back here. Good. And then I do a check readiness, all tasks, and check readiness. really working for that checker ANS, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, good. Yep. I don't have any disabled agent, or if I had like a C drive disabled or E drive disabled, then I would see that. That would be like, it would show disabled here. And I'll show details afterwards as well. This is, or I mean, when you install an agent, this is what you do, file system. This is like the basic stuff essentially. Your storage policy is good. You know, make sure you have a storage policy or a plan. You know, you can install a plan on it. And then just you know, it's probably OCD, but you just do it, and you just make sure you can connect to it. You can restart it, restart the services, the Commvault services that is, and can you browse to it? That's good, fine. And then you, obviously, it's part of a schedule. Afterwards, it will be part of the schedule, and then it runs a backup, full backup. Initially, it's a full backup, and then afterwards, it's incrementals. I don't have any schedules. There's no schedules for it yet. No schedules, no backup schedules. I mean, this is a lab environment. Who cares? We're not looking to do all that stuff. But yeah, not looking to do all that. So yeah, basically that's it in a nutshell. How to install the file system agent. You're pushing the file system agent onto a client from the Commserve to the agent, whatever the agent is. It could be file system, could be SQL, Oracle, whatever. The thing about that is, if it's Oracle and SQL, I just need to make sure that you have your your software cache has the Oracle or the SQL or the IBM DB2 software installed, essentially. Could cache details. Yeah, I don't have it installed, right? So it wouldn't work at all. I'd have to have I take that back. I'm not exactly sure if it will work or not. Yeah, let's try it. Why not? Let's try it. So right click. I'm just going to see if I can push the SQL. Just SQL. Let's see if it works. Find SQL. Let's find SQL. My SQL. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'm not going to do a storage policy. I don't have an account, so it's fine. Now, here's another caveat, right? If you have a customer and they want you to install SQL on the agent, if you put the SQL account in here, it's gonna start backing up. It's gonna connect to the database and it's gonna start backing up. But if you leave it out, it's fine. You know, that way you won't have to back up anything. It won't automatically work. So that's the whole thing with the SQL account. And usually what happens is the customer is going to give you the account information for the SQL. And if you have a blackout window or an operational window, they call it now, you can set up your SQL backups to not run, or you can bypass the operational window and still let your SQL backups run, because they have to every hour or every 2 hours, and then throughout the transactional log backups essentially. So you would just it would essentially ignore the blackout window or their operational window. So we're trying to do the SQL install on the agent. So we're essentially just pushing the MySQL on this computer, the file system. I was going to see if we have it here. So logging. We're going to do CV install, I think. Install. Let's see what we have. So we're going to W. Give it. Okay. Good. All. looks like it's trying to do stuff here. Let's see, Commvault instance finished. No to do process, fine. Oh yeah, it's installing it. Okay, cool. So that's good to know that it can do it. I had the software installed on it. So it's actually trying to install the SQL. Yeah, that's perfect. Nice. Excellent. Close this up. So processes, I'm going to have more services whenever it tries to, whenever it does the stuff, or essentially restarts or installs and then adds a restart services essentially. So let it do its stuff here. It's only able to do this because I have the software, the SQL software, or in the software cache to be able to do this. Again, I'm not on the internet right now. I'm just pushing it from the Commvault Commserve to the file system, which will now be a SQL agent. Yeah, I'm looking at the logs now. You can see here, starting, yeah, right here. So started, pause. Yeah, so right here, configuring MySQL, starting MySQL. Yeah, reconfiguration completed. Yep, installing MySQL. Yeah, so it's doing that, installing the software. So it looks like it's done. Fine. Yeah, I see it here. So quiet install successfully. Quiet. Okay, good. Remove configuration wizard. Fine. Yeah. So now we go to the Commvault Commserve, and we would just refresh our client here, and our new file system now SQL has SQL on it now. Yeah, present. Yeah, remember I was telling you earlier about the SQL agent where you would, well, obviously it's present, but remember I was telling you earlier what the blackout window? Let's say the file system has a blackout window. There's not one present, so I'll show you blackout window. It just means like there's no backups working at whatever time, so you can add any window to it. I'll show you what it looks like. So no backups, no fulls, etc. Right? Anyway, so let's say you have that installed. You want to like, I want to not do that. So you come here and you go blackout window. You just click ignore. So you would effectively ignore the rules above. So it works like bottom up. So I would, if I had a blackout window here, then I would just click this and it would ignore the blackout window. So that the backups would work. The SQL backups work. And that's how you get around it. So if you go to the SQL here and we just right click and go to properties and click on configure or discover, I think. Yeah, content, then configure, and you're going to discover it. Yeah. Discover. And it's going to show the different databases you have. And sometimes if you, the DBA, like on the customer side, it's going to ask you, you're going to tell them like, I want to set to full or simple. They're going to tell you that, what they want it set to, or you can just tell them what you want to set it to, essentially, effectively. Yeah, filters, you can filter a different database if you want, but that's effectively SQL backup. You're pushing the install to the client itself. That's how you do it. So we got a file system and we got a SQL installed, and just a couple different ports needed open or make sure they're updated. How we got it working was you just had to disable the firewall in the server itself. Firewall. The Windows Defender. We just needed to disable the Windows Defender to get it working. Again, in production environment, like in real world, you're not going to have Windows Defender. You're going to have something else like FortiGate. You're going to have the intrusion protection system, or definitely a firewall or something like that. Maybe a Sentinel, maybe a FortiGate, or Cortex, or an EPO, like a McAfee EPO. We're going to have one of those set up. But that's what we did. That's what made it work. And we checked the remote registry, make sure that was working. And we checked a couple of different ports. And then we had just to do a configuration in the local settings. We just had to add the Commvault admin, the user, to be able to install it in the. Now you can obviously push with a GPO. You can push it to every client if you want in the domain. That should make it easier. That way, when you do install clients, that new client will get it and you won't have any issues. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.